This episode of Vice of Life is brought to you by our patron donors, Unsocial Penguin and Anna Jenkins. Thank you guys so much. Oh, shit.
Oh, God. Wow.
Happy birthday to Josh.
Oh.
Happy birthday to Josh.
Wow, you got
Joshy. Dear one.
a dear one.
Episode 71. Very nice, man. Yes. Your birthday
Thank
is
you.
On Saturdays, right? Or is it...
It's on Monday.
Monday.
Saturday
Okay.
would just be the event.
All right.
Well, thank God that was today. I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
I'm bad
I'm taking those shoes. Just kidding.
What?
He didn't bring a gift, so I'm taking the shoes off his feet.
I get it.
Because I gotta have something, you know? Just kidding.
See, you
That's
don't
all
have
I
your
got.
birthday on Facebook, and that's how I know people's birthdays.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God, you'd think of all people I would.
And I was having an anxiety attack because I thought maybe you did that on purpose.
No.
And you're like, only real
Really?
friends know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God. I'm sweating bullets.
Not a bad idea. No, I thought for sure it'd be public. Like, I'm always looking at people's birthdays. What a hypocrite. Wow. I'm going to fix that.
So
So
be a smart boy and put that in my calendar right now, too.
yeah, I should do that. I still have my ex-girlfriend's birthday in my phone calendar because
Oh, wow.
I never deleted it, and it's just always there. So on January 23rd, for some reason, I always remember.
What the fuck? Yeah, it's on Facebook. It's set only for friends of friends to see. So not even actual friends or public. Just if one of your guys' friends looks at my profile. What the fuck? Okay, I'm changing that right
I wonder if
now.
that's a default or something for some reason.
I guess.
That seems backwards, though.
Yeah.
But Facebook is backwards.
I wonder, they are kind of pushing the dating stuff, so I wonder if that's why they're doing that.
Oh, is that what they're doing now?
Kinda. They have like a dating section. Yeah. I've been trying it out. Not a lot of luck.
Well, best of luck to that endeavor. I mean, Facebook has everything. They got the games. They got the dating.
Yeah.
They got the. I don't know.
The,
Are games still
like,
a big thing?
marketplace.
Marketplace.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised like when one of my grandmas I say that because it's like my grandma's brother or sister or whatever, like they want to play. And it's funny because it'll say like 30 of your friends are playing or whatever. And it's like, is that really true? But apparently people are playing those Facebook games.
Well, I mean, in like, I wonder because in like, I don't know, 2010, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all people would do is play like Farmville and shit.
Yeah. And draw something. I remember that was kind
Yeah.
I
of
do remember that one.
yeah.
Back when that was a Facebook game, I forgot that because that made a
Oh, yeah.
migration on to just like a mobile game.
Wasn't there like some word game as well?
Yeah.
Maybe
Words
that
with
was
Friends.
Yeah,
started
Words
on
with
Facebook.
Friends.
Oh, okay.
That
Did
was
it start on Facebook?
That's a big one, yeah. It's one of the top games in a lot of ways.
It is. It is. Real Scrabble ain't no joke though. I played Real Scrabble
Oh,
this week.
this week?
Yeah.
How
Well,
was that?
Actually, not. It was after I got out of the hospital last week, but with my family.
Nice.
I won because my brother's not very good at it, and he would like set me up with really good spaces to play.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, old man cast playing.
I know.
Talking about Scrabble and shit. Well, this is episode 71 of Vice of Life. Every week we sit down, talk about something tangentially or directly relating to life. So, yeah, this week we sat down and watched American Psycho, and we'll talk about that. But before we do that, we usually talk about what we had done this week, get a little insight into our lives. And does Birthday Boy want to go first?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, you know, I'm just working a lot. I'm doing the grocery delivery shit. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, look, I'm single. I'm trying to meet people, but I feel like maybe the universe doesn't want me to right now because I keep meeting married women and it's driving me nuts. Honestly, like I don't know what's going on with that. So,
We're
yeah,
all kind of at that age though, where, like people are getting into their marriages.
yeah. They always like kind of hastily get married and then they're like, "Oh, that was a bad idea." But
Yeah.
it's too
I was
expensive to
Debating
get out of
saying where people start getting into like their first marriage.
it. Yeah.
I don't.
I know one of my exes said like, "I'll be your first wife," and I was like, "What the hell does that mean? You have like an expiration date?" But I don't know. So yeah, outside of that, I guess trying to find things that I enjoy again now that I should or can. So I'm kind of getting into drawing again and some artsy, crafty stuff. You know, I had this realization actually, like, and it's based on a card reading I got from our mutual friend, I guess, Shelby, like Ryan's girlfriend. And she sat down and did that with me. So I guess you could say that's something I've been up to is live readings and things. I'm always watching shit online, but it's always good to do it with someone right there. But we did like this, it's funny because it was supposed to be like a soulmate reading, like what qualities does that person have and when will they show up and all these things, which is what it is. That's what she wanted to do. And I was open to it. But most of the cards that I got were more about just me and had like nothing to do with the person it was supposed to be about. So I wasn't really sure how to take that. But I think ultimately every time I'm single, I start working on myself and then I meet someone and a lot of that kind of goes out the window. And so I think I have to take the time to kind of build that up a lot stronger before something else. But hey, man, I might still be having people over once in a while. You know? I'll say that, but that's
What a stud.
Wow. Well, I got needs, man. I do. I really do. Sometimes it's just a massage even, but
Did that happen here? No, you said you went to the massage.
No, but I'm kind of working on a scenario for that to happen. Yeah. God, no, that's a whole other thing. It's just gotten complicated. I should have just kept it as a massage and not tried to get to know this other person. And I've been trying and it's going nowhere. So now I'm like, should I go see her again in a couple of weeks or should I just like drop it and just not talk to her? I don't really know. But, so that's been a lot for me is my natural inclination to try to find someone else to fill the void. And I shouldn't be doing that, you know?
Yeah.
That's what weed is for. Just kidding. I am kind of considering going back to the gym. I know it's controversial, but hey man, I don't like a packed gym. So this is like the best time to go, you know? We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I was wondering if it would actually be packed or not, but
yeah, it might be. I honestly don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about it. I'm not like pursuing it, but I might.
You just need to do a quick drive past and see how packed the parking lot is. It's as simple as that, but
true.
I haven't even thought of that until just now.
Well, like, you know, on Google and stuff, it'll show you like times they're busy each day. Like, I wonder how, like, I should look at that right now, but I wonder how accurate that really is.
I feel like it's fairly accurate.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
with a grain of salt, because I think the not busy is still like a little busy, you know?
Yeah.
Like you got to bump it up one, what it says,
Oh, wow.
and then one to the right, if that makes sense. So when it says fairly busy, it's pretty busy.
Pretty busy.
It says not
It's
too
very
busy, but it spikes at like 6. But what is the ratio on that? You know, like, is that similar to how it was like at full capacity days?
Yeah. When did they do the refresh? Is this
Yeah, I was gonna
post-COVID
say.
or pre-COVID info?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, to be honest. Based on visits. See, and I was thinking, how do they even track that? But it's probably because they have all of our locations and they know where we're at what time. And so that's a whole other kind of creepy thing, but
It's true.
I guess it's a benefit. So yeah, that's I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up and get on out of here. It's been good to see you guys. Gotta go. You know,
next week, man.
Deliver some more groceries.
yeah.
You gotta have a title for this, by the way. I feel
Like
like
the job.
you're not a grocer,
Yeah. What
but
am
I feel like that's a good name for somebody who delivers groceries.
It's true.
It's true.
You know.
I guess back in the day, like when grocery stores were new, you used to come in and tell them what you wanted and like stand at like this round counter and they'd go grab everything and bring it back and you'd leave.
Like a butcher shop. I don't know why that pops into my head. I've never been to a butcher shop, but that's what I
true.
imagine.
Yeah. So maybe those guys have a title. I should find out what that is. But they didn't drive. I don't know. I'll figure it out. What do you guys think it should be? Grocer?
I don't know. I've been sitting here trying to brainstorm this whole time while you're going off on that.
I just feel
concierge.
I feel like delivery man is like grocery delivery man is weak. So
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm a weak guy, you know?
well, that's why you're going to the gym.
Yeah, true.
To the gym.
So he could put more bags of groceries on his arms.
Yeah, that whole thing people do where you put them all. I'm doing that all the time, every day, man.
That's me every time I go to the store.
Yeah.
Like one trip, let's do it.
I got this big because I'm doing the catering thing too, and they sent me this big like canvas like cooler bag thing. That's made it really nice, but now I'm just putting all the weight on the one arm essentially, so I have to kind of like cradle it and like hold it, you know. But it's honestly the worst one. Like I can fill everything in the bag, but then they have like 2 cartons of milk or 2 jugs or whatever. So it's like it would have been perfect, but now I have to try to hold these other things and like. So if you live in an apartment, go fuck yourself because I hate delivering to you.
It is. I always felt bad whenever we would have people deliver to our apartment when we lived on like the 4th floor.
Oh damn!
And like really windy stairs, and I don't know how we ever moved in or out.
I was gonna say, how the fuck did we?
Damn.
I think it was just a lot of like powering through the shit, but
I know.
I don't know, man.
I remember us moving that washer and dryer in that last place.
Oh, yeah.
That was not fun. We were trying to like carry them with the strap things underneath, and you just kind of like you put the strap under and then pull up on either side, and then you just kind of carry it. And I was struggling. I'm actually kind of shocked by how weak I actually am. It's kind of concerning because Logan was doing better than I was, and I'm like, what the fuck? But
I don't know about that. But.
anyway, no, I kept having to put it down, and you're like, come on, let's just get it over with. And I'm like, I know, but I'm trying.
Yeah, that's. I feel like that's less to do with my strength and more to do with just my mindset of pain. This is like, let's just get it over with.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's worse than when like you get, like a bandage or something on your hair, like on your arm or something.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, it's gonna hurt, and they're like trying to gingerly rip it off. It's just like, nah,
Just do
bitch,
it, yeah.
just fucking rip that shit.
Yeah, I get that.
So I don't know. That just continues over into my muscles spasming because I fucking can't lift a bread box. I don't know.
Yeah.
I am an old man. Who fucking brings up?
Yeah,
bread
I was
boxes?
like, what? Fucking bread box, huh?
Never seen one in my life. Anyways.
Yeah, a lot of times they like slide like a garage door. It like opens up.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of want one just to have. Put a cat in there, you know?
Yeah. They are loafs.
Yeah, they do the love thing. That's perfect. I heard Odin, your cat, escaped and then jumped over the neighbor's fence to get home. Did Ryan tell you that?
I saw it. I don't know which neighbors he talking about. Is it these
I don't
ones?
either.
Or those ones or those ones? I don't know. I just assume he's out doing his own thing now when I let him out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so hard because I know, if I want to keep him alive, I should probably keep him inside. Because he's...
But is he living?
Yeah, exactly. Because
I get
he
that.
doesn't think he is when he lets me know that he wants to go outside.
Yeah.
He meows, and is straight up by the door. He's done this ever since I've had him. And I just feel like it's, I'm being rude to him if I don't let him explore his feelings outdoors.
Yeah.
And
I can appreciate that.
so I let him outside, and people might disagree with it. The real thing I should do is get one of those. I should go out there with him. But I'm not going to spend 3 hours outside because that's how long he likes to stay outside.
Yeah.
It's like, you kidding me? I'm not going out there that long.
It's a joke.
I'll sit out there for a half hour, maybe even an hour on a good day, man. But
yeah.
You expect me to stay out there that long? Hell no, dude. Anyways, I'm glad you guys can hear me because I feel like I'm not hearing myself and it's making me have anxiety. But we did a test record before this and everything's fine. So it's fine. It's fine. Eloy, what did you do this week?
I went on a hike on Saturday. Yeah, last Saturday. And God, it whooped my ass.
Really? Yeah.
I tried that hike multiple times. The first time, there's like so many branching paths that I didn't know where to go. So I never made it to like the actual trail and just gave up. And the second time I took the dogs and Riker got spooked by this lady and her daughter for no reason. And he
He's
slipped
racist.
out of his collar and fucking took off and ran all the way down and just waited by the car.
Oh, wow.
So good on him, but I was pretty pissed.
Yeah.
This time me and my brother went. He took one of the dogs. I took Riker. And he got a little skittish around this one family. But there were also like 14 of them. So,
oh, wow.
And they're going out hiking?
Maybe he's concerned about social distancing, right?
Yeah, I think he is.
This, man. But yeah, it's a fucking heavy incline. It's like a 4 mile both ways.
Okay.
So it's not the worst, but
still.
Do you remember the name?
the living room trailhead up behind the U.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty dry too, not a lot of shade or anything.
We
right?
went at like a solid time where we had a decent amount of shade.
That's good.
But you really got to persevere because it's just like narrow paths with like trees and everything nearby or a little brush when you don't have that shade.
Yeah.
And you don't get a view until you're like basically at the top.
And it's a kind of a small space when you're up there too. If I'm thinking of the right one, or no, I guess it has kind of like a fenced off thing, right? I only did it once a long time ago. I don't remember.
Not up the top, no.
No?
I don't have anything fenced off that I remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
But from what I heard, you could go further up. But it has like these little stones where it's set up like a couch, like a sofa, and you just sit down and look at the view.
Nice. Yeah, is there like some kind of like plaque there or something? Like, maybe I'm thinking of a different spot. It was like the spot that Joseph Smith was like, this is the place. Like, that's where he stood. And
Ensign
like,
Peak?
I think that's Ensign Peak.
Yeah, I'm probably just
up behind the
talking
Capitol.
out of my ass. Yeah, I know. I think I know where you're talking.
This one's over by the behind the U.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Ensign Peak.
Right. Yeah, I got those mixed up. Okay.
And that one, fucking piece of cake compared to
Yeah.
I feel like this is like a step above beginner hikes, but like it's not quite a heavy hike. This is the one you want to do like 10 times so you could get ready for big ass hikes.
Should start doing that.
I know.
I went on a fairly short one maybe a week ago. And yeah, I was surprised by how like beat I was by it, you know?
Josh, surprised about his physical abilities.
Yeah.
It's twice he said that.
Well, I always think I can do more than I can in every part of my life.
In the same boat. It was hot. We were hiking for like an hour and 45 minutes. And when we got back, I'm like, I'm fine. I'm feeling good right now. By the time I got home and had been there for about 30 minutes, I could barely keep my eyes open. I just wanted to fall asleep.
Damn.
And I kept trying to push it off. I'm like, I can make it through the night. I can do it. I go to bed maybe a little early. No, I fucking clocked out at like 2 p.m.
Whoa, shit. Yeah. It's pretty. Did you wake up super early? I feel like I always sleep longer.
I woke up at like 7. It's not terribly early.
About normal for you, right?
More or less. Between 6 and 7, I usually get up. Yeah, we started hiking around 8. So I guess I made it like a couple hours afterwards, but whew. No.
Have you guys ever backpacked?
No.
No. I would, I think.
Shelby
I'd
has.
have to prepare.
This is what I'm saying, man. I want to do King's Peak. I've brought this up before.
That's what it's called. I was trying to tell my brother about it.
But talking about surprise, I'm sure that's not something we want to be surprised to find our lack of ability to do.
True.
So, I don't know. Yeah, we should work up to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Once upon a time, I thought it would be like a good idea to like do a Saturday hike every week.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I do that.
I'm just 2021, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it every time I move my shoulder a certain way, just shooting pain at my arm. Fucking every Saturday we do it. We're gonna go on one hike. We're gonna do this hike, this intermediate hike that you're talking about.
Yeah.
To build up to this long hike. We'll watch videos about how to backpack properly. I was listening to a podcast. They were arguing about a spork, like yelling at each other about
Like
the
which one it is
implementation of
more?
a spork.
Yeah.
And one of them was like shouting, like, you don't fucking bring like a knife and a fork backpacking. You bring a goddamn spork.
Mm.
I don't know. Context is lost, so it's not as funny to you guys. But I don't know.
No, I
bring
agree.
sporks. I
gotta
know
pack light.
that's my that's my one thing about backpacking that I know. Sporks.
Could ask Shelby's dad about any of this, man. He
Yeah.
fucking loves backpacking.
Huh.
I don't know. So you got to bring a tent. One person's got to carry a tent,
Mm-hmm.
or even just everybody carries a small tent.
Yeah.
You bring a sleeping bag and the spork
And that's
and a
it.
plate.
Yeah, just sports.
And first aid. Actually, just remembered. I went just for a one night camping trip, I guess, the other night. And I mean, it was, but it's not what I would go for usually. But anyway, I'm there with a couple guys and our friend Chris, or I don't know, this guy Chris. We're all hanging out shirtless. We're drunk. We're, hitting the herb and doing all that, getting a little crazy, listening to music. And he's dancing around the fire. He's getting a little wily. He falls into the fire.
Nice.
Well, he kind of rolls through the fire. I swear it happened in slow motion. Like Ryan said the same thing. Like he just kind of oddly rolled, like his back like landed in the fire, and then he just kind of rolled out of it. And I guess he like caught himself, I guess, on the rocks, or I'm not sure what happened. And at first we're just kind of laughing about it and like, oh yeah, it's bound to happen. Like, and then, and he starts walking around and like shaking his hands and going like, oh, and it just keeps getting like worse and worse. And we're starting to think like, oh God, like, do we need to take him to the ER? What's going on? And so we started looking around for a first aid kit, and we kind of, Ryan had one, but there was only like moist towelettes and just like bullshit in there, there was nothing like useful. I don't think there was even Band-Aids in there. And, so we didn't really know what to do. And, this guy, Alex, is like, you got to take him to the ER, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't want to, let's take him to his parents' house and see what they want to do and everything. And it's like 4 a.m. or a little bit later even. Like we were like ready to just do our thing and go to bed. We spent all this time building up this big tent and gathering wood and blah, blah, blah. And we'd only been like actually enjoying it for like maybe 2 hours, and then that happens. And maybe longer, but you know what I mean. And so I'm driving him down the canyon, which we're out there, man. It took maybe 45 minutes to get to his parents' house or something like that. And I'm just like, thank God I have this SUV thing. I'm going to miss that thing whenever it's gone. But we're driving down, and he heard somewhere that like mustard is like this quick fix for burns.
Well, I'm glad it's good
Have you
for
guys ever-
something, because otherwise it's disgusting shit. So.
Yeah, I no kidding. But naturally, none of us brought it. We didn't have it. So he's like,
It's disgusting, yeah.
I use it once in a while, but
Oh, you're gross.
that's
Yeah,
fine.
indeed.
That's all right. It's nice with some roast beef or whatever, but
Anything's nice with
you know what
roast
I'm saying. Yeah. But so he's just bawling. He's bawling. He's crying. He's freaking out. He's holding his hands like all just like, and he keeps going. I need mustard, man. Where's the mustard? Oh my God, bro. I need to find some mustard. Like just, it was so hard for me to not laugh. Like just driving down all fast. We're gonna get you home, man. It's gonna be okay. And he's like, I just really need mustard, man. It's like the only time you'd ever hear someone.
I kind of want to see if this pulls up anything.
Yeah, I've never heard that. He was obsessed. He just kept saying, "All I need is mustard." And I'm like, I really doubt
if I type in mustard burns.
Mustard burns.
Yeah, he did get pretty fucked up. I saw pictures of his hands a couple days later. He's got all these bubbles and stuff. But anyway, it just reminded me of that. Bring some first aid or at least some mustard. Apparently, I don't know.
No, you just. I'm imagining you cracking open a first aid kit and just. Bottles of mustard.
The little gas station packet. Like, oh God.
Oh my gosh.
Slap that on and put a Band-Aid on top. Like,
hell yeah. These home remedies, man, they always seem so fucking wild to me.
Well, he actually said, because he doesn't have insurance, so they really wanted to avoid going to a hospital. And I guess they tried a few things and they found that you can put vanilla extract on a burn. And he said that worked really well. Shit's expensive though, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's a new one. Put some of that in there.
Can cause a reaction on the body because its ingredients can irritate the skin and open blood vessels. Your skin may feel warm when you put mustard on it, but that doesn't mean you're healing your burn.
Right? Oh. Yeah.
Well,
he just has a thing for mustard, I guess.
He didn't want it for the burns, man. He just needed something
to the comfort.
Yeah.
He's okay.
That's good.
Mustard didn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. I'm like vaguely recalling that there was something else that helps with burns. It's like a home remedy, but I'm fucking spacing on it right now, and it's bugging me, man. Maybe it's just like ice water, and it's not that deep, but I'm trying to make it deep.
There's so many though. There's like witch hazel and all these weird like
I've never heard that word in my life.
Yeah, I think it's just like a plant, and I don't know. It's apparently you can rub it on. What do you call that when you touch like a poison ivy or some kind of
irritant, skin irritant?
Yeah, apparently it's good for that. And all the oils, peppermint oil and all this, but I don't know, just
all that fancy bougie stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, the peppermint oil, I don't know about its healing properties, but it does help.
That's nice.
It helps you feel good to go to bed.
Yeah.
I think I had like a cold or something, and Sam put that on my neck or something. I was like,
man,
this is nice.
It's real nice. Yeah.
And I never bought it again. But I was telling myself, I'm gonna try to put like peppermint extract on like my forehead or whatever before I go to bed, because it's nice and like that like warming, cooling sensation, like Ben Gay on your face, but natural. Yeah. It's nice. Ben Gay.
I'm gonna get you some
deep.
I've been gay.
Bring that joke back.
What about you?
Good question. Well, I went back to work.
Yeah,
and it's been all right. I don't know. I feel like my all the wounds, all the scrapes, the bruising has gone away, and now it's just pretty quick. And now it's just like the bones. Like when I cough, my fucking rib hurts like a motherfucker, or when I sneeze, it hurts like a bitch. And then like my arm feels okay at certain points, and then I make a certain motion like I was saying, and then it's just like fucking the pain of God comes upon me. And
he's trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
Like, worship me.
I can't get down on my hands and knees though. I learned that the hard way.
Oh, how'd you learn that?
We went over to our friend's house.
Oh yeah,
and I felt awkward about it. I'm gonna start making masks. I'm gonna wear masks every time I go out. I'm gonna do it. I went to a birthday party for my friend's kid.
Okay.
I didn't. Sarah, I like you, but I don't want to.
Oh no! I forgot about it.
It wasn't that great. And it sucks.
Oh, you forgot to like say anything or go?
I forgot that it was happening. She invited me like in person, sent me the message and everything, and I just
What day is her birthday? A couple days ago.
Her son's birthday, I think, was last Saturday
birthday.
or whatever. But
yeah, she's not gonna forget that, man.
that's fine. I didn't go to her sister's wedding, and she gives me grief about it. It's like I'm not fucking friends with your sister. I'm not gonna go to your sister's wedding. Like fuck that shit, dude. I know your sister. Like I know her name. I've maybe hung out with her once. I don't know her, the dude she's marrying.
I was real surprised we were invited. Maybe I was gonna say maybe it'll even out because I went to that, but yeah, I think her son's birthday might weigh a little more
how
in
old
favor of going to that.
He's 2.
He's not gonna know.
Yeah.
I don't care about his opinion.
Well, just tell her that. Just say, look, he's an idiot. He's not gonna remember.
Kids are stupid. That is funny. They are stupid. You just see him walking around.
Stupid shit.
Yeah, he was trying to talk to me because I was wearing a mask. Like I was the only one wearing a mask there.
Yeah.
And he kept coming up to me like, because he noticed it that I was the only one wearing a mask, and kid speaking gibberish.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. You're fucking stupid. Get out of here. I didn't say that, but
Can't even speak English.
Yeah, exactly. You think he's gonna remember that you weren't there? Doesn't even know what fucking Christ means.
Yeah. Bet you he knows Ronald McDonald though. You
maybe. Or maybe he's more of a burglar kind of.
Yeah, the Hamburglar. Yeah. I kind of want to be him for Halloween or something. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the Burger King like skateboarding kids that they tried to bring?
Yeah. God, vaguely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that in a long time. Yeah. They had little toys and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of like you guys was it like Team Rocket?
Yeah.
Something like that on
that.
Nickelodeon.
Rocket
City.
Powered.
Rocket Power.
Rocket. I think was it Rocket Power?
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'll look it up. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They reminded me of that. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to wear a mask when I go out in public. And it felt kind of, I felt really good because I was the only one wearing a mask there. And then I noticed somebody's girlfriend like put on her mask after I like had been walking around looking like a dork. And I was like, hell yeah, dude, I'm making a change. Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, Rocket Power. There you
Okay,
go.
cool.
But and then I forgot to wear it at our friend's house, and I felt kind of bad about it. But
wow.
They were also dropping the N-word like crazy, and I didn't know how to address that. They were stoned out of their ass.
Yeah,
just like,
I never know.
I don't know how to bring that up. Like if a person is coherent, it could actually you could
have a discussion.
Yeah.
But they're just like, oh man, whoa.
Like, are we talking the guh? Like they're just trying to be cool?
Yeah. The guh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no hard R's, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people that aren't black, but they're maybe Hispanic or whatever, or like Tongan or something, and they'll like try to adopt it like it's not a big deal. And I don't really know how to go about that even because I'm like, I got to stay out of this whole thing. I don't know.
It's just funny. There's like the group dynamic of it because like one of our other friends was there and I never hear him say it, but I heard him say it a couple times that night just because everybody else was there. Not everybody else, but
groupthink, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Groupthink.
He says gay a lot, which I've confronted him about before.
Yeah.
And he just pulled the I don't want to be politically correct shit, and I'm like, listen, man, it's 2020. Like it's not even about being politically correct.
Yeah.
It's about living in a different decade, man. It's
yeah.
I always hit him up like the whoa, hey, let's think about this.
I was a little like I went to this little shop a couple days ago and they kind of just sell like novelty items. Like they had like a stress ball that's Donald Trump's head, or they have this book that's like All My Friends Are Dead, and it's all these like dinosaur cartoons, and
it's a good book.
Yeah, and they have a calendar and stuff too. Like
I've read that book. Well, I've
God
flipped through that book, I should say.
What a simple. We need to just come up with something like that and just get it published and put it out there. But just that type of stuff, the inflatable flamingos and weird. You know what I'm talking about? One of those stores, a mug with boobs on it. Like so I'm in. I'm in one of those. What?
They have fuckable goats. Do they have fuckable
They probably
flamingos?
do. Yeah, they have a full adult section.
Oh, okay.
They even sell some glassware and all that, some pipes and everything. So it's one of those stores, you know, it's got everything. It's called Cahoots in Salt Lake.
Apt.
It's on like 9th and 9th. Just go check it out. It's a good little place. But I was in there. Oh, okay. So I'm in there and there's these people in the back and I'm talking girls with shaved heads with lots of tattoos and you know what I mean? A certain type of, I mean, not, it's funny because like Sam, like you're saying, she doesn't fit into this stereotype, but there's like a type of Salt Lake person, you know, that's kind of, honestly, they're in their own bubble is the best way I could put it. And this is a good example of that. I'm in that store. They have this box full of all these t-shirts and that kind of seems like they're just like giving them out. And I'm like, oh, could I get one of those? Like, what is it? You know? And she's like, Sim Gill. And I'm like, is that like a band? Like, I don't know. I'll probably wear it. What is it? You don't know Sim Gill?
Huh. Wow.
No. Like, what is it?
Where is this going?
Yeah. And she's like, well, he's the senator or something. The district attorney that took no action on all of the like shootings and killings. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she's like, yeah, we're calling it the Inaction Tour. And it has like all the dates when people died and stuff. And the front of it is kind of like a Dead Kennedys type, like punk type look where there's like his face with like paper across his eyes. And it says like, there's blood on your hands and all this. And I get it. Yeah, it's once I knew what it was, I was like, okay, she's like, is that okay? Like, do you support that? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And of course it's me and then these alt girls and then like 3 or 4 black chicks standing there and they're all like, ooh, is this my size? Is this going to fit? And I'm like, yes, I'm for it. I don't make this weird. Like, I just didn't know who it was. I'm not trying to be an asshole. Like, God damn it. And so now I know, but there's just that whole, like, you don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm sorry. It's
that whole like educate yourself.
Yeah.
Well, they need to educate themselves, man.
They need to realize they're in a bubble.
He can't do anything. This is bugging me, man. It's like people got to understand that there's laws and the district attorney looks at the laws and is like, do I have a case here? And he didn't have a case there. And he specifically said that in his conference. He's like, do I think that the shooting of Bernardo was justified? No, but under the Utah law, I have no choice but to not press charges. So if you want to make the change the laws. Don't be like, Sim Gill, blood is on your hands. Because it's not on his hands.
Yeah.
It's not on his hands. It's on the cops' hands. And you guys got to fucking fix your goddamn education, okay? It's not Sim Gill. Shit's pissing me off. It's not Sim Gill.
His Inaction Tour.
Listen, I don't love Sim Gill, okay? I don't.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're pro Sim Gill.
But these fucking assholes. God, dude.
Yeah, it was a little... Well, and, you know, they have all the shirts and then they have this big poster board thing with a big QR code on it. And they're like, so how it works is you get a shirt and then you donate however much you want to. And again, I'm like, okay, how do I, like, I'm just looking at a QR code. Like, how do I, and they're like, on Venmo? And I'm like, okay, sure. So I open up Venmo and I'm trying to like scan it and I'm trying to figure it out. And of course it doesn't work, so I can't even give $10 or whatever. So I'm like, I guess I'm just taking this shirt. I don't know. I tried, like it didn't work, and so I'm kind of I'm not exactly neutral on the whole thing because I took the shirt and I'll wear it, but I also didn't give money, so I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's fine.
You
know, I'm glad that they're out there doing their thing because it's important. And the cause is important and it's justified and it's right. But you gotta aim your crosshairs at the right fucking place. That's what pisses me off, man. It's like,
I get that.
Wear that damn shirt. What does the shirt say? Is it Sim Gill? Is it the blacked out Sim Gill?
Yeah.
Okay, don't wear that shirt because it's stupid.
It looks cool. I like it. I'll wear it. I mean, but yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, it's kind of like we were talking about before, how I think the social pressure is like the thing that they're trying to use, like shaming and all this, so like eventually something will happen.
And then what do you call that? You know, what do you call that? Not a democracy. It's not a democracy. It's mob rule, man.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. God, man.
But maybe that's what we need now because we're not getting anything done. Like,
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm with you on that.
You need mob rule.
It'd probably get us further than we would be now.
yeah.
Really?
I really think so.
Oh my God. That's insane.
When you look at what's happening, there's a lot going on, and you won't report it because you're fake news.
I mean, what is your mob rule look like? Is it going to look like the Chaz zone?
I guess, yeah, we should define that more specifically.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. There needs to be structure, but I don't know. We need a little more anarchy than what we've got going on now.
Whatever happened to Metal Militia? Where are they during all this? It's probably a bunch of white guys. You probably don't want them, but yeah. So anyway, I can't even remember how we got there, but
I don't know either.
Sim Gill. See, I didn't know. I'm like, is that like a hipster band? I have no idea what that is.
Actually, a kind of solid band name.
Well, like when I lived in St. George for a month, the guy we were living with had a band called Zangief, which I think is from like Street Fighter. And so I kind of thought it sounded like that a little bit. I'm like, Sim Gill, is that some kind of like character? I don't know. I mean, it is, I guess, but
Yeah.
it just sounded like a hipster band to me. But so.
That's a good band name. Fuck. So American Psycho.
American Psycho, huh?
Yeah, he was an American Psycho for wanting anarchy. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Anarchy. I get what you're saying.
I wish I had a solid game plan for this, but I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, to talk about it?
Huh?
Or for the...
To like actively express what I mean.
Get it out. Come on.
Maybe I'll think of it.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it eventually.
Okay.
The masses need to be heard. Yes.
Oh, boy.
That is true.
We hold the power. That's what we're trying to sort out is how do we go about it, you know? They need... The top
and
needs us.
It's the political action. It is the political action that they're taking.
But who's funding those politicians?
You got to aim it at the right place, man. That's all I'm saying. The district attorney doesn't make laws. All he does is determine whether or not he has a case. And even if he pulls those fucking... If he charges them, what's going to happen? He's going to get acquitted, and it's just going to cause more madness.
Yeah.
So,
that's why we're skipping all that and we're going straight for the madness. You know?
Focus on the Mormon Republican legislature and fix that shit. All right?
Okay.
Anyways.
There's this seafood brand called CPAC, and I've been tempted to take a picture and say this is everything wrong with politics, but no one will understand that, so I never do. But corporate political action committees.
Yes.
Which Roger Stone was a part of, who was recently pardoned. Good on you, Roger. Still got your rock. Hope you're doing well out there.
Good on you, Roger. All right, American Psycho. Unless you have something you want to say, Eloy. I see you're bracing yourself.
Yeah.
Just getting a drink of water.
All right. Okay. American Psycho. It's a 2000 film.
Yeah.
Just basically going off of my memory from what I read. Made in 2000, starring Christian Bale.
Yeah. At his best, maybe, appearance-wise. He looks real good.
Oh.
Oh.
The rock hard abs and shit.
Yeah.
Very lean, but
Very lean.
not quite jacked enough in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Jump rope ain't Eloy's thing. You got to go harder than that.
Yeah.
I say this like I'm some big ass dude, but no. It's just a small dude wishing he were a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that can't be my goal, my ideal. It's got to be better than that. I get that.
Maybe if he didn't do Batman movies, I'd be like, "Yep, this is peak Bale."
Yeah, I guess he did look better in those movies and more refined. But I like this younger, kind of more tense. I mean, this. I love his character in this movie, man.
I forgot he's supposed to be 27 in this.
Yeah, I kept thinking about that through most of the movie. Like, I don't know, so young to be that high up and everything. But I guess it says a lot about. Well, actually, no, because
They
like
mentioned that his dad owns it.
yeah,
That's
right.
true.
Yeah. But yeah, starring Christian Bale, Jared Leto.
Yeah,
I don't know any of the female actors.
Reese Witherspoon is in it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
that's right.
I
I
forget.
feel like she gets credited a lot like higher than she's actually in the movie.
Yeah.
Same with Jared Leto, actually. Like, I was
True.
reading,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude gets axed quite literally.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Pretty
Well, I
soon.
mean, really, like everybody has a pretty small part unless you're Christian Bale.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't know, the prostitute, whoever, or I'm sorry, the sex worker.
Yeah, the
That's
blonde
true.
one with the bangs.
She has a average part. Secretary.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, stars all these people. It's a cult classic, you could say. It's supposed to be a comedy. I don't think it's
Really?
comedic.
It said horror on YouTube,
Yeah.
It
but
says horror, then it's like dark comedy. I was like, there were no jokes that were dark.
I was
I guess
laughing.
you could construe like, I'll fucking murder you in your sleep. It's
They
like,
were like-
ha ha ha. But I don't know, man.
Goofy things. I think they're like taking actual goofy shit that happened in the movie and being like, okay, but it's not a comedy, so we just got to slap dark on there.
yeah.
Well, I think the book that it's based on was supposed to be like a dark comedy kind of thing, like an absurdism kind of thing where like
Yeah.
the sexism is so absurd that it's like funny. But
I think the movie in
Like
and of
you-
itself is like a satire.
Yeah.
So I think people use those terms too interchangeably.
yeah,
I used to laugh at this movie quite a bit when I first started watching it when I was like 19 or whatever. Because, yeah, I was just like, man, that's so crazy. Like, no one's actually like that. Like, how would you? It's just absurd. But I don't know. I as time has gone on, I look at it pretty differently, I guess. But, yeah, I used to see it as more of a comedy. And now I just see it as more of like a commentary or satire or whatever. But I heard that the book was a lot worse in the like misogyny and all these things that they kind of had to cut back, like, but a lot like Fight Club, I guess, where the book is like a lot more ideological and intense, and they kind of just made the movie to be more entertaining. But
it is wild that how much books can get away with. you
yeah,
know, with that kind of shit. Just be like, oh, I'm just exploring the dark character,
yeah,
and you can just write down some fucking whoa kind of shit.
Yeah.
Stephen King did that a lot, from what I've heard.
Oh god.
With like there's all of these like child sex
Yeah.
situations.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I fucking learned about that, I was like, because I went and saw the movie It, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's really cool. And then I think I was like reading the book or something, and then there's like, I think on the Wikipedia it's like controversy, and I'm like, huh, what is its controversy? And then it's like, I don't know, the kids to find their way out of the sewers all have to fuck each other, and then they remember how to get out of the sewers, and it's like, oh shit,
Wow.
what the fuck?
Why? Just
Yeah,
why would
there's
you
no reason for that.
ever?
Cocaine, man.
Yeah.
It'll do something.
Hell of a drug.
Yeah. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Which does play a part in this movie from time to time, you know.
Yeah.
Where do we want to
I was
start?
gonna say, how do we begin talking about this?
Well, what are you guys' overall thoughts on it? To me, I felt like the movie itself is just, I think it shows its age
Yeah.
quite well. No, it shows its age, which isn't good.
I was gonna say,
That was a confusing statement, but I just thought it was okay.
Damn.
I've never, I wasn't like on the edge of my seat. I was kind of like bored with it during the last half hour. I was like, yeah,
What?
let's go.
Chainsaw and all that? Come on, man.
That shit just was like, it's so stupid, man.
Dude. Oh, man. I love he's wearing those runners and he's like naked beside his underwear
Yeah.
and those real nice
The acting,
kicks.
the acting is good in that part. I will admit,
Yeah.
like he is
looks
a
all-
psycho. But I'll
Yeah.
just say, man, like you're dropping a chainsaw, and it just happens. No, man.
I was a little bothered by that.
Come
Yeah.
on. It's too much suspension of disbelief for me at that point.
I get that.
So at that point, I was just kind of like, okay, all right. But then maybe that lends itself to the belief that none of it actually happened and it was all just in his head. Because I thought about
Yeah.
that when he blows up the cop cars too. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Jesus Christ.
well, like there's
Yeah.
that great scene when he does blow up the car. He like even looks at the gun and looks at the car. He's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck
It's
is
like,
that?
I love the feed me a stray cat. Like the ATM just says feed me a stray cat. And there's like this perfectly beautiful, innocent kitten just right there. And he's trying to like put it into the money slot. I don't even know what he's trying to do. Like,
Yeah. So maybe that is the comedy.
yeah.
I don't know, man.
But then he immediately shoots an old woman and just like goes on this run of just like bam, bam, everyone that's like in his way. And
Yeah. I think like what is I think I'm maybe comparing it a little bit in my mind to Joker, and I think Joker was so superb in this kind of like descent into madness or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't think American Psycho holds up. I think Joker kind of took it, whatever it had in people's minds. And again, this is my first time seeing it, so to me it's like Joker's a better film that explores the same realm of psyche. So
yeah.
So to me it's just like, yeah, it's okay.
This movie's so weird because I don't know what to think of it. Like, I mean, overall as a movie, I don't know. Every time I watch it, I'm like blown away. I don't think.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, this is like one of my favorite movies. But then I go so long without ever thinking about it.
Me too.
I don't know. I really do love it, and I don't know. A weird thing is I don't like when I said I don't know what to think of it. Like I see it. I see your point about Joker. I even had the same thought where it's like, I think it does show like someone going insane better, but then this one feels like the inverse of that to me, where it's like he starts out insane and then it peaks, and then at the end he like comes kind of like full circle where he's like fully aware of his mental state and realize there's nothing he could do about that. It's just how he is now.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, there was a good amount of things. Like I watched this fairly often when I was younger because I like bought all these DVDs from a pawn shop, and that was one of them. So I watched it a good amount, and I haven't seen it since then until last night. And there was a good amount of parts that like I never realized before how like the nightclub kind of like keeps reoccurring throughout the movie. Like I completely forgot about all that. I thought it was kind of funny. Like I might not have the timeline and all this like perfect, but it opens up with him and his kind of like co-workers or fellow CEOs or vice president or whatever of a company. And then after that, he's like walking home and there's that woman and he's like, hi. And he's all creepy and it's nighttime and he's walking with her across the crosswalk. And then you see him the next day with like a lock of hair in his hand or something, or there's something
that's, I think it cuts from that to him at the dry cleaners.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He's trying to get the red stain out of his sheets.
Yeah, it's cran apple. He's so like, of course. And yeah. And you see him freaking out on the like dry cleaner owners. And he's like, I just can't get through. And he's just like, so throughout the whole movie, he has this unrealistic expectation of his own like control over things. Like with his shower routine, everything's very organized and very particular, and it's got to be done right his way. Like, so that's kind of the whole thing, is like everything has to be perfect, and if you can't meet that, then you're nothing. Like it's like this whole mindset, you know.
That's an overarching theme of like the whole movie. Everybody, all the characters, especially all the ones surrounding him, have like this very specific idea of what success is. Yeah. And so everything has to hit that mark, otherwise it's just, and like I don't know, the movie centers around just him, but I feel like this could really be applicable to any of the other people. Yeah. And there's got to be points where they could become unhinged, maybe not to this extent, but yeah, I'm kind of just trying to think throughout the movie. You said he took notes and stuff. What do you let's see what I put down here.
Well, just going off of like the swanky Manhattan, or I guess I don't know, is Wall Street in Manhattan? I
don't know.
But that whole, I think that's part of why I don't care for this as much, is because I just generally don't have empathy for those kinds of people.
Well, yeah, that's the idea.
Like, and well, I mean, I should say I don't find them interesting. Like, I just am like, yeah, these fucking people are crazy. Like, I don't know. That's just my own hang up. Because I just hate like Wall Street people, I guess, like that whole lifestyle or whatever. Like the greed and shit. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't find that interesting, and so the movie to me was just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, where like I'm saying, like back to Joker, it follows like just a regular dude, and it's more relatable to me than. Cause I'm never gonna be a Wall Street banker. I don't ever have the thoughts of like killing somebody.
You're lucky.
I mean, I don't want to kill them. I just hope they die. That's how I go about it. I don't want it to be a personal thing.
Sound the opposite. That's funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Like I find some weird
parallels.
Yeah, I really want to phrase this right, but yeah, I find some weird like moments of relation to Patrick Bateman in this.
Me too, man. That's why I wanted to watch it again. But interesting. Yeah. Well, there's like the part with the second meeting with the sex workers when he's in like the third or fourth apartment that he's like claiming is his, and they're all sitting down and he's like, so don't you want to know what I do? And they're like, no, not really. And he's like, oh, I work on Wall Street for blah, blah, blah. Have you ever heard of it? And they're just bored and dead eyed. And they're just like, no, we really don't care. And I like too, she's like, this place is nicer than your last one. And he's like, well, it's not that nice. Like, because he's taken on this different identity. And I think the last one was his place. And so it like pisses him off that he can never be like to the standard of other people, down to the whole business card thing where they all look the same basically.
And that's something, that is relatable, I think, to everybody, where it's, I guess in a way it's like keeping up with the Joneses. Like you want to keep up appearances. You want to seem more important than you are or whatever. But fuck, man. Again, just going back to that profession in general to me and just like, oh, you guys are fucking assholes. Like you're all assholes, and you have this nice apartment and it's not good enough for you. Like that's what kept going through my mind, is it's just like, fuck, man, fuck you. So I just, I guess rather than empathizing with him at all, which it sounds like you guys did, it's just like, I hate this guy more and more and more and more and more and more. Like I find him more despicable with every fucking scene.
Despise him.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I feel like you could find moments of relation in people. And maybe that says something about yourself if you're like, that's despicable, but I can relate to it.
Right.
I never empathized with him. I always thought he was a piece of shit.
Right. I'm not saying you guys are like, wow, he's really aspirational. I want to be him. But
I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's just, anybody that knows the movie, I just don't want to come off like, yeah, I'm going to fucking kill you. Okay. And play around in your blood. All right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I was thinking the first time they go to the nightclub, they're dancing all corny, not Patrick, but all the other guys. And they show up still in their like suits that they would wear at work. And they just don't fit in because it's like this punk, like underground, almost like cyber goth or something. Like, and then there's these guys in these suits, like trying to be all cool. And that was just kind of funny. And yeah, he walks up to like the bar. And I can't remember. She's like, it's cash only or some like little thing that bothers him. And it just sets him off. Like, and she turns around and he's like, I want to stab you and play around with your blood or whatever. And he says it fairly loud and she's right there and she doesn't hear it, or at least that's how it comes off. And you just see like, that's the whole idea of the movie, I think, is that, everyone that's in that world is basically invisible, even though they think they're the most important people in town. Like no one gives a fuck about them. They all look the same. Like they're interchangeable. They don't even listen to what you have to say a lot of the time. Like they're at the club again, or maybe it's the same night and he's like, mergers and acquisitions. And they're like, what do you do? And he's like,
murders and executions.
Yeah. Just like, oh, do you like it? Like she doesn't even listen to what he's saying, And he's like looking her in the eye and says it. And yeah, it's just interesting. Like that's what I like about it.
That's what I think is like, above all, it's like a theme of just like being self-centered and like everybody is so self-involved.
Yeah.
That you can't pay attention to what else is going on.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a theme. Like everybody keeps confusing people for everybody else, and
yeah. Well, what I noticed last night too, that even though they're in like Manhattan or whatever, a lot of the time, like the streets are empty at night, and you only see him. Like he's generally alone, even though he's in like this mecca of people or whatever. Like he's still very like isolated in a lot of ways. And like he's trying, like he loves like pop music, you know, Huey Lewis and the News and all that. And it's kind of hard to tell, honestly, how much he loves it and how much of him is like he's in the limo with Reese Witherspoon. I can't remember her name in the movie, but he's like trying to listen to his headphones and he's like, I'm trying to listen to the new record, but she keeps blabbing or whatever. And he like pulls off the headphone to listen to her for a second. And he's like, I can't go. I have to work. You know, and she's like, well, your dad owns the company. Like you can practically do whatever you want. Like, why do you do that? And he's like, because I want to fit in. And then he just puts the thing back on. And it's like, I don't know. Like, what did you guys get out of that, I guess? Because I kind of have a thought on it, but why does he say that? Like, what is the significance there?
To me, I just, I took it as, I guess a sociopath or a psychopath. I always forget the distinction between the two.
He kind of goes back and forth. Like,
yeah. What is the distinction?
Sociopath is a lot more, methodical with it, and like they do wear the mask and present themselves a certain way and then have like dark intentions that they don't really reveal.
It's like a more manipulative stance.
Very. And psychopaths really can't control their actions. Like there's that point in the movie where his secretary's there and he's like, you should go. Like, I don't think I can control myself. Like that's where it's really taken that turn into like being a psycho. Like
it's more of like a gradual shift.
Yeah. Like one has the impulses and they like channel it into something and like gain power, and the other one just can't control themselves and just kill, and they act on their impulses. And
right.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah. I've looked into this a little.
But going back to that scene where he says he wants to fit in, to me, it's just always been like, they try to fit in to have the cover to live a different life kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Isn't that what everybody wants, I guess? So, I mean, I guess that's another point where you could be relatable in that way. But I can't ever imagine myself being like, I just want to fit in. And I think the fact that he specifically says that probably indicates, like, I think this is another reason why the film to me was just kind of like, there's all these warning signs, and you guys are talking about like self-involvement and like not listening to the other person, but I'm just like, there's so many obvious things in this film that my only conclusion at the end is that none of it actually happened because there were so many fucking signs and not a single person was like, well, that's weird. Yeah. Like when he's drawing at the table with his fiance of the sex worker with the chainsaw in her back, and it's literally right by her and she's not paying attention. I'm just like, come on. And then the detective is like,
that's the idea.
I know, but it's so crazy that it couldn't have happened. Like that's where I'm getting at.
That's why I kind of fall in line where I'm like, I can't put my finger on what did happen, but I know he's definitely killed people. Yeah. But he didn't do like everything that we saw in the movie. He didn't actually do like the chainsaw thing, especially. I'm convinced that was a fantasy. Right. Yeah. And especially because earlier in the movie, like they specifically show a shot of him like working out while like watching Texas Chainsaw. So I feel like it was just kind of like a correlation there.
Yeah. And he has like the porn playing, and it's like a threesome thing with blondes. I just realized that. Yeah. And he's like, blonde. It has to be blonde. So he's like fulfilling these Yeah, that's interesting. I
So-
never thought about that.
Such a dickhead.
Yeah. Pumpkin, you're dating an asshole. He's a dickweed. He's a tumbling dickweed.
When the sex worker shows up, you're not quite blonde, are you?
Yeah.
She was
I'm
an
gonna-
escort,
I'm gonna
please.
call you Sabrina.
I think she has a different distinction.
Sorry,
I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I look at it as kind of like he sees himself as different and knows that he's like dead behind the eyes, but he doesn't want to accept that, I guess. Like he wants to just be part of the in crowd or whatever, but he kind of knows that he can't. But I don't know. It's because there's other parts in the movie where he's listening to music and just loving it, like that lady in red, like all, and he's just like got his eyes closed and he's just like loving it. And someone comes in and he, like when the detective, like Willem Dafoe, is there I think second time or third time to try to, he's like trying to figure out who killed Paul Allen, and which he did, and he took over his identity and all this, but he's trying to figure it out. And then like the second time he's there in his briefcase, he has the Huey Lewis and the News CD, and he's like, great stuff. I just picked it up. And he's like, I don't like singers. Like, you know, he's like being all weird about it. And he's like, not much of a music guy. And he's like, well, it's not that. He just sounds too black for me. And he literally like just slammed his drawer with that CD in it. So it's like, why is he embarrassed? I don't know. I just don't get that. Like,
I think it was a moment of panic because that's what was playing when
true.
he killed Paul Allen. So
Yeah.
True.
like I think he took it as like he's on to me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
See, that was exciting to me because I'm like, oh, they're gonna get him.
Yeah.
And then it was just like this is like he's so panicked, and Willem Dafoe's just like, yeah, it's fine. And
yeah.
none of it happened to me. I think he's just insane. He has these impulses, but I don't even know if he's killed anybody based on what I've seen in the film. I mean, he says he's murdered like 40 people in the confession to the call or whatever, but
Yeah.
I think it's
What a
just
good scene.
it flashes back and forth between reality and what his mind is doing at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I lost my train of thought, but yeah, I think it was just a moment of panic, and I don't think anything other than that. And
That's
the
thing,
fact
like-
that he didn't get arrested like right then is kind of why it's so crazy to me that this film is as great as it is to people, but I don't know.
Well, he, like, when he finally goes to lunch with the detective guy, he's asking him where he was, and he's kind of like dodging it. He's like, well, what do you have? You know? And he says that basically he has this timeline of a dinner where Patrick was there. And so like he could tell he still doesn't really trust him. Like he's trying to figure out if like what's true and what isn't. But he's like relieved by that. But it makes you wonder how long he had that timeline. So he knew like, well, technically he's fine. Like I can't really do anything, but I also don't trust him. Like, so I'm trying to get something out of him. But
So that's probably
I don't
my
know.
one, or not my one, but probably my biggest criticism of the movie. I feels like the detective thing was kind of, it didn't have a great conclusion to that.
true.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I see that. Well, like later on in the movie when he's really like off the deep end and like the sex workers running through the place and all the closets have bodies in them and all that. And it like my first thought was, oh, we didn't even see any of those. Like, so it's kind of weird. It's like if the ones we see maybe aren't real, is he still doing other stuff that we didn't see, or is none of it real, or is all of it real? I don't know. But then like at the very end, when he goes back to the place and all of it's gone and it's all cleaned up and it's like, did they just clean it up and just be like, oh, well, this is a great apartment. Like we're just going to ignore all that and just put it back on the market.
See,
Or was it never actually there? Like, I don't really know.
Yeah, I didn't think about that until I had watched it just last night because it makes it seem like it's like the next morning. That
Yeah.
he goes back and sees it, but they mentioned like, yeah, like this happened last week or something, and I could be wrong, but I think that last apartment was Paul's place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, he had already been missing for weeks,
Yeah.
months, whatever. So They
Lost
probably just like
delivers
wrote
the
it
baby.
off and maybe cleaned it up to sell it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think that I'll ever come to a good conclusion in my own head about this movie because I could see every point of view. Like,
Yeah.
I could definitely see none of it ever having happened. I could see like a case for all of it having happened, but like some of them are grand illusions.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think 40 people is an exaggeration at the end and stuff, but
He's like 20, maybe 40. Like he doesn't exactly.
so maybe I'm copping out by being in the middle. I'm like, yeah, he killed a few people, but not all the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I read this online that one of the critics was like, what they're trying to go for in the movie is better done in the book, and I know that's not
I could see that.
it's not a that's not an original point of view for anything, but like there's no conclusion to the film.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a lot of questions, and while in its own respect that's titillating, I'm going to use that word for this film. To think about all the possibilities, I just, I think there needed to be more of a resolution in some way, like at least a hint. You guys seen like Inception?
Yeah.
And how at the end the whole like thing is like whether the top is gonna fall or not.
Yeah, yeah.
And to me it was like it's slowing down, and so to me I was like, oh, it's gonna end, and there's like there was like a hint towards something, and I feel like
Yeah.
at this movie there's
Yeah.
no hint one way or the other. Like Eloy was saying, you could see
Yeah.
it go any other ways, and I think
Yeah.
that's exciting for a lot of people.
Yeah, which like it's very subjective, but like I saw like a few clips from like a round table with like the director and the writer and everything, and they're not exactly pleased with how they ended it.
Yeah,
They're like, yeah, we left it like we feel like we went too ambiguous, and they wanted to kind of hone in on something. I don't know what that something would have been exactly.
right. Like I think the interaction at the end with the lawyer is very
Yeah.
interesting, and I feel like that could have gone so much better for somebody like me who I missed a lot of details. Like I know what went through the film, but like I don't know the names of all these characters
Yeah,
and stuff. And I feel like his conversation with the lawyer at the end could have wrapped it up in such a way as for a viewer like me who was just watching it and not taking it as probably deeply as you guys, it sounds like you guys were. You could have wrapped it up and at least nudged me in a direction,
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it is good to hear that they at least thought about it, or the actual people who wrote it or whatever. But
I
don't know.
I did see a comment from one of them saying that like he definitely is a killer is what they say,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
But then like I also don't like putting too much stock in like this is how we picture it, but that's not what the movie portrays. Like it doesn't go down that path. So I like it. I don't know. I'm one of those people where I'm like, I don't understand it. I never will, and I love it.
yeah. And I think it comes down to who you are, because that idea like pisses me off. Like I need to know what the fuck is going on, and it doesn't tell me, and so I guess it's actually could be good for me because I could watch this film over and over again and be like just fucking taking furious notes and watching every scene and
That's
what's
thing,
playing in
like,
the background and become a scholar on it and still never know.
It's fun
I don't know.
It's fun to watch that movie and pick up new stuff every time, but then it really has to touch base with you that first time for that to take effect. So
True.
And again, I think it was good. It was good, but just not my cup of tea. I suppose. But I am noticing, Josh, that these kinds of films where you watch them over and over again, and you become as Mr. Bateman is with music.
Yeah, I was about to say I love his.
You want to do the same thing with the films.
Yeah,
and I think that really is interesting to you. And I think well, let's explore that. Now I'm yours.
Well, I was literally about to say that I love his whole like fandom and analyzation of the music and everything. Like before he kills Paul Allen, Jared Leto's, or is that Paul Allen? I don't know. I think so.
I think it is.
How did you get the Fisher account? But
that's real quick interjection. I saw like a quick little theory that never even occurred to me. Is like, was that really Paul Allen?
Yeah, I know. Huh? Maybe he doesn't even know who's who. Yeah.
So I wanted to rewatch that dinner scene where they're together and see if he actually addressed him by name at any point. But
yeah,
then I don't know. I'm just putting layers in my head. Like, if he did call him Paul Allen, like Bateman went along with the Marcus Halberstrom thing, so maybe it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, because he thought he was Marcus that whole time when they went out to eat at that Mexican restaurant, and they're like, there's practically nobody in here, you know, like he's all like bitching that it's not something better.
Yeah.
And that was, again, like they're almost always like separate or alone unless they're in this place where everyone's packed together, like the club or the restaurants or whatever.
Sorry, I'm just shit's hitting home with me now.
Huh.
So what if that wasn't Paul Allen? And then at the end, when he's at the apartment, he's like, didn't Paul Allen used to live here?
Oh,
She's like, no.
True.
Fuck, man.
Oh my God.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. But he's I mean, just through the whole movie, he's supposed to be Marcus in that restaurant, and the Jared Leto's character is like, there's no one here. And like Patrick turns around and he's like, oh my God, is that Ivana Trump or whatever? And he's like trying to make it seem like important.
A lot of Trump going on.
Yeah, there was a good amount of
There's
that.
an earlier scene where he's like, is that Donald Trump's car?
Yeah.
You know, people say The Simpsons predicted the Trump presidency. I think this film predicted the similarities between the Trump psychology.
I think so too.
And American Psycho.
Honestly, I was going to bring that up. Like it's
the same.
He's like has
energy.
This idolization of Trump and everything, and then like Trump's gotten away with a lot of shit that we know he did.
I mean, he straight up said he could shoot somebody like in the middle of the day, and people would be like, "Oh, it's fine." Like,
yeah exactly.
So I mean, I think that shows you that at least Trump has thought about that kind of thing before. So
yeah, he's more sociopath, like, but also just loose cannon.
He's like, I'm gonna fucking become president.
Yeah.
Well, I do love actually like the subtle jab at the end of like Ronald Reagan too, because like I found that interesting too, of like them talking about like, oh, is this like just an old man, or is he?
How can he get up there and lie? And
yeah, and then you're sitting next to somebody who's undoubtedly that,
Yeah, exactly. So, and he's just like, I'm just a happy camper or whatever. He's like all weird about it. And yeah. And I love just like going back to the whole thing with Jared Leto and the music and stuff. I just love how he's looking right at him and he's like, I love to eat women. Did you know I'm utterly insane? Or like something like that. And he's like, great suit, man, or whatever. Like he just doesn't hear it at all. He's like only seeing the superficial stuff. But so then they go back to his place and he's just, Jared Leto's all like fucked up on the couch and just like laughing at dumb things. And yeah, I love all of Patrick's like monologues about music. Like he turns on Huey Lewis and he's given this full breakdown. He's like, their first album was a little bit too new wave.
And everything walking around.
Yeah, but they really came into their own when Sports came out, and he just is like giving this whole. And to him, he's interested in that and wants to talk about that, and no one does, and he's just extremely isolated. And he just can't fucking stand it anymore that no one is authentic or real. And he just resents humanity.
Yeah, like if you take a look at the whole movie, like no interaction between any of the characters had any substance whatsoever.
So, where'd you get that overnight bag? And
but yeah, all those little like music moments.
The best is with the sex workers too.
Yeah, I didn't pay too much attention to the one with. About Phil Collins and Genesis. But like Huey Lewis, the one album, he goes like a deep dive in. He's like, it's about conformity, really. Yeah. And then Whitney Houston, he's like, there's there's kind of this theme of finding empathy in no one but yourself.
Yeah, the music is where he really like processes stuff. Because he's like the pop feel, like, you know, made it very listenable, and no one pays attention to the lyrics, but you really should, because it has he's like, the values of consumerism and blah blah blah. And so again, it's like everything's right there in front of your face and you don't even see it. And so even the music is doing that. Yeah, I love when he's like dance around a little bit to like the second, I guess, the escort. And then he's just sitting there just talking about like Phil Collins or whatever. And he's got these two like nude women that just want to get paid essentially and get out of there. And he's getting all that joy out of that. Like,
my favorite part about that scene is like, again, it shows its age, because it's like, what are you gonna do? Eat her? Like, you got to eat her ass.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, this movie's way ahead of
Don't
its
just
time.
look at it.
No, I think the point there was to be like, see how like degraded or
Right.
demonstrable this guy is, and I'm like, dude, that's like a
just-
meme now.
yeah.
Everybody does that shit.
True. Well, and you gotta love the classic like flexing in the mirror while they're having sex, and he's filming it the whole time, and he's not even paying attention to them at all. Like, he's just doing his own. He's in his own world, you know.
Yeah. This
Another
is like
moment I don't like to admit. Done that before.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway,
feels pretty good.
See, I think of the opposite way. I look and I'm like, oh, Jesus. Like, I got to do something about this.
there's like a
well,
weird
me too,
little
but-
under. It's not like a big theme in the movie, but I get like a weird little undertone of like male sexual insecurity in those scenes. Anyway, sorry, what were you gonna say?
This isn't like a fully fledged thought, but I'm making a connection here of like music and serial killers and shit. And I think like, I wonder if music has a sort of escape, like a different world. Like, we all escape into music or whatever, but something about it like calms the killer inside. I don't know what to say, but I'm just thinking like, fucking, God damn it, why am I forgetting his name? Fucking the
Phil Collins.
No, the murder.
Patrick Bateman.
No, the fucking 60s murder. Helter Skelter. The fuck.
Charles Manson.
Charles Manson. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he was big into music, you know, like he wanted to start a music career, and I guess you could debate. I don't know. I'm not a scholar on the subject, but if he had like a rock and music career, would he have ever gone down the path of starting the cult and killing
Probably
all those
not.
people?
That's a good point. That's
And
like
so
what Josh was saying. Like, Bateman wants to talk about it, but when nobody cares, like, it sends him
yeah.
over. And there's the part when he's talking about Whitney Houston, the girl's laughing at him. Like, you actually listen to that?
Yeah. And he just keeps going, which you gotta love.
And I also had this thought, like, when at that scene, where he's so scholarly about it, and I'm just like,
And emotional.
has
almost,
he ever
like-
tried to like
Yeah.
put himself forward into that, and he's just not recognizing that that's where he's meant to be? And
Yeah,
not-
because he never could in the world he's in, you know, like
That's true. And then maybe that has something to do with towards the beginning when he goes to dinner with his fiance's cousin or whatever, and it's like, oh, they're artists and they look like they're nowhere near him.
They have
like they're so beneath him.
Yep. Yeah. Smoking and wearing all black and heavy eye makeup and stuff. And well, and there's that whole thing in that part too where he gives that whole spiel about like starving kids and how we need to come together to create a, he has this whole like kind of manufactured speech of like the right thing to say.
That is actually something I wanted to bring up. Is it's like, because at the very beginning scene, like one of his friends is like spouting off some really anti-Semitic shit, and he's like, you got to cut that shit out.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, is that actually what he thinks, or is that just the appearance he's holding up to ingratiate himself to do the fitting in thing again or not?
I can't tell because it's like, does he just know like that's the proper thing to say or do and he's doing it because of that? Or is it like he can appreciate the struggle of humanity, but on a person-to-person level, it doesn't matter or something? What were you going to say? Sorry.
I was going to say, he doesn't like the superficial hate where there's no real rhyme or reason, but you hate, like, he hates society because of what society is, the materialism, the self-centeredism, and maybe just hating a race because they're a race is like bothersome to him because he acknowledges there's no real reason for it.
Yeah.
Whereas he feels there's a reason for hating society. But
what about the thing with the homeless guy though? Like, do you think he was going to help him until he touched him and then that set him off?
I don't.
Or
think
was
so.
the whole thing like a game?
I think it was a show of power again. Like,
I think, he was gonna just fucking berate him the whole time. I don't think he was actually gonna help him. And I think maybe he may not have been stabbed until he, like touched the suit.
Yeah.
It's like even one of his colleagues earlier, like brushed his shoulder and he's like, don't fucking touch me.
Yeah, he hates it. There's a whole thing too in the bathroom, like later in the movie with that redhead guy that's like the big dork. And I can't remember what happens. I think it's his card. He shows them his new business card and he gets set off again.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes into the bathroom and he puts his gloves on and he's like starting to choke him from behind and he like touches the glove and he's, oh, Patrick, why here? Like, I've waited so long, like all this. And he
that
just
scene is comedic. Actually.
All right, this movie, I'm thinking back on a lot of these scenes. Some of them were actually kind of funny.
well, and he starts washing the gloves. He starts freaking out and he's washing the gloves like as hard as he can. And yeah, it's just weird, like that just obsession with everything being perfect at all times. Like, yeah.
And I wonder, maybe, is he gay? Is he actually gay?
Maybe. He could never do that either.
And that's why he's looking in the mirror. That's where he gets his rocks off, is looking at a man's... I mean, that's narcissism, obviously, but...
Yeah.
You know?
I never thought about that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've wondered about that with myself.
Whether you're gay or...
Well, yeah, it's like, why, if I can appreciate that, and then I can see that in other people... Shouldn't there be something there? But there just isn't for me. So I don't know. It's very confusing.
I don't know. We took the Kinsey scale earlier in the podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
And, I think we were both more flexible than Eloy was. I think Eloy was the out and out straight guy, which is weird to say it in that way, but
yeah, I don't know. Well, like pretty much at the very end of the movie, like after all he just goes on that rampage. Like he blows up the cop cars and he's just shooting everyone in his path, all the like hotel clerks or whatever, and just everything. And then he has that big like confession on the phone, which is that's just great acting, man. That whole scene, like he's just going through like every range of emotion, like highs and lows and crying and yelling, and God, it's so good. Like just great acting. But, and then, well, and I love too, before that, when he's in the restaurant with his fiance, just like scribbling furiously. And he's trying to break up with her and he's like, this is fucking over. And she's like, but your friends are my friends. She just like doesn't accept
it's
it.
It's not going to work.
Yeah. I just don't think it would work. Like it's
not the relationship, move, but the breakup is like, it's not going to happen.
I'm going to pull that next time.
Fuck that.
Next time somebody tries to break up with me, listen, we have the same friends. It's not going to work.
Exactly. Yeah, man. I mean, that says a lot too about their whole like society and stuff,
right.
Like, and why you can't be who you want to be. But I love, he's like, I need to commit homicidal actions on a massive scale. Like, I just love the like tonality.
Like when he's saying that,
manic,
like she sees someone she knows, so she's like fucking not.
Yeah. Oh, is that? Da, da, da. Like, yeah. But I just love the way he like plays with tone and like facial expressions, and he can look really soft and kind, or when they light him differently, he looks like pretty grim and evil. And
man, I know that's like the look they were going for, and that's like the look everyone was going for, but everybody in this movie so greasy.
True.
So greasy.
Very greasy.
So shiny.
Yeah, and the oversized suits. And,
yep.
Yeah. But like, so he does that whole confession, and then he talks to the lawyer and he's like, oh, that was great, man. That was a good joke. Like, you really got me, David or Marcus or whatever. And he's like, I'm Bateman. Like, that was me. And after the guy was saying like, what a dork. Like, he would never do that. That was so rich. That's so funny. And he's like, no, it's me. I'm serious. Basically. No, I'm serious. And like the lawyer's like, I must be going or whatever. And he like sees someone else he wants to talk to. And then he kind of, he like realizes none of this really matters. Like I can just do whatever I want to do, and there's gonna be no consequence, basically, which is a whole other level of isolation, because it's like, wow, I'm that invisible. Everyone just thinks I'm a dork, and they barely know my name or who I am. And
Like in that last scene during that round table talk, there's this older movie that's called like No Exit, or I think it's called No Exit, where it's like the whole movie takes place in this one room with these three people. And then basically at the end of the movie, they find out that room is hell itself.
Yeah.
And like they have the choice to leave the room, but they're still like concerned about like what the other people might think if they do. And the way the camera's framed, it's like it shows Bateman in the background. It says like not an exit on a plaque or something. And they're like, no, that was intentional.
It's like a nod. That's pretty cool.
It's like a personal hell is what they were saying in there.
Yeah, I could totally see that. That's purgatory, that whole group. Like it's just, there's no substance. But I like how he has that inner dialogue that's about like,
all the monologues in this are so
monologue.
good.
Yeah, and he's saying like, even after all of this, I experienced no catharsis, no relief. Like he's still just empty inside, like even
His
after.
confession has meant nothing.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I feel nothing but pain or whatever. And I want to inflict my pain on others. And I don't know.
Could just sit here and quote this movie for an hour.
I know.
I'm simply not there.
I think my mask of sanity is beginning to slip. Yeah.
All right, we'll stop it there before we go even crazier with the quotes.
You guys have convinced me that I think the artistry and the scenes and the way they're shot or whatever is really good.
That confession, everything about it, the lighting, everything. Like, yeah.
But
Sorry.
I will still contend the story itself is lacking.
Okay. That's
fine.
But
yeah, like I could see that. Like I don't look at this as like there's a big, good, a great narrative here.
Yeah.
I'm like there are movies that have a narrative, and then there are movies or like character studies.
Yeah,
this was going for a different thing.
Yeah.
Shit. Fuck. What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just getting into the mind of a killer, I guess. Like, but it's his form. Like I was thinking about it last night, how you have like Freddy Krueger and all these like monstrous killers, and then this is kind of like the anti version of that. Like he's very, very human and in society and whatever.
That reminds me. I was going to say, like, I used to just think this was a fun watch, and then like at the end I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Is it a dream? Is it not? Whatever.
Yeah.
But I think just the last few years I've become a little more like critical and like introspective or not. Yeah, whatever on films.
Yeah.
So like that, I think that's why I came out of this watch like, fuck, this movie's really good.
I know. I think so too.
I don't know, man.
We're just psychos and Logan's not. I don't know.
It is my own mental process. I process things. We've talked about this numerous times, but my mind thinks of things logically in a lot of ways. And again, that's what I picked out. Like I said, when he's like scribbling the drawing and she's just not paying attention, I'm just like, this is even if you're so self-centered, you're not going to notice that somebody's drawing a dead woman right next to you. Like that's why it was hard for me to get past that. And then the only logical conclusion to me is that none of it happened. So, but that's just my own mental process, I suppose.
Yeah, because like,
and that's why, like, criticizing media is so fraught with terror, danger, not terror. I don't know why I said that, but it's so subjective. Like, it's just how does your brain work? What moment in time do you watch it? And
that's a big part of it, I think. So. But I mean, I'm sure you guys have had days where you're really on edge or whatever, and just a really small thing will just push you over the edge,
Yeah.
And that can get pretty bad. Like I remember, I felt a lot like this character for a while there when I was like in the middle of this big breakup, but it hadn't officially happened. We were like renting a house and worked to the same schedule and all this, and yet we were like very distant and everything. And I remember I just wanted to go on a hike, you know? And this was after I had all these issues with my Jeep and had to get all this extra money on it and all these things. And so there was like that, and then the relationship shit and shit with my parents and shit with money, and just everything was like fucking wreck. And so I wanted to go on this hike just to kind of get out of my head or whatever. And I tried to go to one, I can't remember what happened. It was like full or there's some weird thing. And so I like went back down and then tried to find another one. And it was like a lot more bumpy than I thought. And so it's just like, God, this is such a process. Like I'm just trying to fucking let go and enjoy. And it just felt like there were all these steps. And I finally get to the spot and this couple walks down, this older couple that kind of they look like tweakers. Okay. Whatever you want to put in your own mind, that's how they look. And they're like, oh man, I dropped our keys and we just need a ride. And can you like they just, before I've even gotten out of the car, they walk up and they're knocking on the window and just like giving me this whole story. And I'm the only person like in the car that's parked there. There's cars there, but they're all off doing their own thing. And I'm just like, all right, where do you guys need to go? You know?
Yeah.
And, it was just a really weird experience. Like they just smelled like booze and cigarettes, and the guy gets up front and the woman's in the back, and he's like berating her and saying some like real weird, like borderline, like abusive shit. And it was just this really weird dynamic between them. And I'm just driving like, okay, do I turn? Like, you know, like I'm just trying to like get through it. And, they want me to drop them off at this bar naturally. And, they're like, hey man, you want to come in? Like, I'll buy you a drink. And I'm like, no, man, it's like 1 PM. Like, I'm good. I was just going to go outside. And so I dropped them off, and I guess he had like slipped down the side of the mountain a little bit. So he was all covered in dirt when they got in. I let them out of the car and I look at the seats and I think about the whole situation. I fucking lost it, man. I just started like screaming and just like punching and just, I don't know. It really, really drove me nuts because I just felt like so upset by everything going on in my life. And I felt really like I was doing the most that I could at that point to try to make everything work, and it wasn't working. And then here's these people that they're not contributing anything, like in my mind, other than keeping the bar in business, I guess. But so I don't know. I just felt so annoyed by like humanity and just all these things. And I had like just cleaned that car and now it's all covered in dirt and all this, and it smells bad because just who they are. And it is what I know I'm sounding terrible, but this is that's the mindset I was in at that time. And so I just resented that they like had dirtied up my car. They didn't even say thank you. I mean, he wanted to buy me a drink, but they just kind of got out. And then as they like turn around, like, hey, did you want a drink? And I'm like, no. And so I don't know. I freaked out, man. I was very, very upset by that. And everyone I'm seeing driving, I'm like cursing them out and I'm throwing out every term you can think of. And I just feel I'm like white knuckling the steering wheel. And I get home and I'm just furiously vacuuming and just like freaking out. And I was at a dark place at that time, man, in my mind. And like, I can relate to this character when I'm in those points in my life, like where you just have no taste for humanity. And in fact, you'd rather see it be gone than be there. And I'm not saying I'm always there. And I was more or less fine that day. I mean, I was like burying shit, but I was doing my best. And then I just got set off, and that was really hard to get over. Like, it took me like the rest of the night to just like calm down. And I don't really know why. And I had to do it alone because I was in this whole fucking weird situation. So I had to just kind of process it. And so, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, man, we can all be that character, I think. where the smallest little thing will just really drive you nuts, like, and you just can't take it anymore, and you freak out. And there's levels to that. Everyone's got their own threshold or whatever. I mean, I did this with my friend Chris the other night. He really fucking pissed me off, and I started choking him, and we got in this big fight, and it was pretty bad.
Started choking him?
Yeah. It was bad. I was drunk. It was a whole thing. Yeah, don't worry about it.
So he didn't
turn around and kiss your hand?
He wasn't dancing.
No.
Josh, why here?
I know, huh?
He wasn't dancing around the fire. I think Josh threw him in.
Hey, man, it's no cameras. You know?
It is different, though.
I'm sounding really bad right now, but I'm being honest.
No, it is when you have personal interactions with people. It's very easy to like internalize a lot of what they're doing.
Yeah.
As an attack on you or whatever.
Right. And it's usually not true, but
right. And
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, but like if you zoom out, you just kind of notice that humanity as a whole is just kind of not contributing what they should to the world.
And very unself-aware. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, like just not considering what impact you're having on someone else. But yeah.
I mean, we all notice these flaws that we think we have, and I don't know, you just work on them, and I guess that's the point of humanity or the human life. But I don't think you're necessarily being weird. I mean, or I don't think that's like a bad mindset or necessarily even an ununique circumstance. I mean, it is unique to your experience, obviously, but I think people have had those similar mindsets of, you know, where just everything in their fucking life is going bad, and
and you want to lash out on someone else because you feel like you don't have any control, basically. Like,
So,
but the lesson I should walk away from that with is like, well, they just really needed someone, and thank goodness I was there so that I could provide them in their time of need. And, you know I should have that outlook on it. And it's like, well, he couldn't control that he fell in the dirt, and what was he going to do? Put down a tarp? Like, he was just doing his best, and I know I should think all that, and some part of me probably does, but it's just easier to freak out because it doesn't require like patience. But
well, I mean, these people do sound like trash people, but
yeah, they kind of were. But that's, I mean, it's their experience, It's, I can't.
Yeah, and so it's just working on like separating that out, being like, they can live their own shitty life, and it has no real bearing on me. But it did in that moment. Yeah, and that's why it pissed you off.
Well, he was calling me a moon face too. That pissed me off.
Face.
He's not wrong, but I don't got to hear it, man. Okay.
The hell does that mean?
Like pointy chin and kind of like a big
like
forehead.
The moon face.
Yeah.
Okay. I always forget that depiction until I see it or it's brought up. But
see, and I thought you were just talking about like a circular face.
Yeah, that's where I went first.
Yeah. They call me moon ass,
Moon cheeks.
Yeah, moon cheeks. That'd be a good like keto pancake or some shit, like moon cheeks, It's kind of fun.
Well,
I'm a good guy, okay? I don't want to leave it on just all that, but
no, it's just funny that you and I need to, we're not crazy. I swear.
Yeah, let's do a reenactment of the.
I just want to fit in
scene.
Yeah.
Of the confession scene.
Oh God!
Pull out your phone and
let's do it.
call your lawyer.
Yeah,
I know. Huh?
On air.
Let's see.
My aunt texts me so weird. Like, at the end of every text, she says like "Love Aunt Karen" or whatever. Like,
nice.
It's always like a letter. It's really weird. But
I'm start putting that at the end of my messages with love.
Yes. Yes. I also lied to her when she was asking about how I was feeling after the accident, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna start reading books. I haven't read a single book." And now she's like, "Read any good books lately?"
You're like,
Yeah, this book called
long.
American Psycho. It's really interesting. You should read it.
You sure you want to do all this?
If you want.
It's kind of long. Howard, it's Bateman. Patrick Bateman. You're my lawyer, so I think you should know I've killed a lot of people. some escort girls in an apartment uptown, some homeless people, maybe 5 or 10. An NYU girl I met in Central Park. I left her at a parking lot behind some donut shop. I killed Bethany, my old girlfriend, with a nail gun. And some man, some old with a dog. He says the F word, folks. There was a lot of that in that movie too, I realized. Some like homophobic stuff, but
I thought you meant fuck for a second, then I realized what you were saying.
oh yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, he's not saying fuck.
I don't say fuck anymore. Last week, I killed another girl with the chainsaw. I had to. She almost got away. And someone else there, I can't remember, maybe a model, she's dead too. And Paul Allen. I killed Paul Allen with an axe in the face. His body is dissolving in a bathtub in Hell's Kitchen. I don't want to leave anything out here. I guess I've killed maybe 20 people, maybe 40. I have tapes of a lot of it. Some of the girls have seen the tapes. I thought this part was pretty corny, honestly. I ate some of their brains.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to cook a little.
I try to cook a little, every week, but
Yeah, I know. Huh?
sometimes it doesn't
Hello
work out.
Fresh. Tonight, I just had to kill a lot of people. And I'm not sure I'm going to get away with it this time. So, I guess I'm a pretty sick guy. So, if you get back tomorrow, I may show up at Harry's bar. So, keep your eyes open.
That reminded me of like a Joker thing.
Yeah, it
Keep
is
your eyes
very
open.
It's very similar.
This whole scene right here, I'm like, wow, Christian Bale, good Batman, possibly an even better Joker.
Yeah. Damn, that would be good seeing him in the makeup
be.
and shit.
One man show.
Yeah. On like a stage and everything. Yeah, I'd really
Batman
like that.
on Broadway.
Yeah.
You only do side portraits of him where one of it, like half of his face is painted like, white and with like Joker. The other one's like Batman and he just like flips back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Wow,
pretty
I pay
sweet.
good money to see that. One
Yeah,
night
me too.
only.
We need to get Ryan to do that or somebody.
Yeah.
Just right here at home.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do it.
Hell yeah. Where are the drugs? Remember that college humor Batman?
Oh, yep.
Where would the other drugs go?
Where are all the other drugs?
Can
All
you
right.
keep it down over there? I'm trying to do drugs. I love he's jumping over the stall, getting mad at the other guy.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
people.
is that it? You guys got any more to say? Been going for about an hour and 50 minutes.
I think
wow.
I've said my piece.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been episode 71 of Vice of Life. Remember to keep those thoughts to yourself, or better yet, a psychiatrist, and don't actually follow through on those
working on
murderous thoughts. Let's explore that.
Yeah. I don't have insurance, so.
Yeah. It is. The psychology profession kind of pisses me off. I'll be honest.
Yeah, me too. I'd follow it if it didn't take like 10 years.
Yeah.
But
It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody acknowledges that having somebody to talk to is important, but then you pay this person asinine amounts of money just to sit and listen and tell you, oh, that's our time. Pick it up next week. Goodbye. Like, I don't know.
I'm probably still going to do it when I can.
It's important,
Let you guys know.
but I just,
Yeah.
fuck, man.
I know.
I don't know. Something about it being monetized just bugs me. I don't know.
If I could
Universal psychology. Fuck the healthcare.
there you go.
Just specifically
It's
universal
like
psychology.
preventative. Yeah.
No, it's not
interesting.
psychology. What is it? Fucking
Therapy.
therapy. Thank
Therapy,
you.
yeah.
I was saying the wrong word. I was like, that's not right. That's not right. Anyways.
The
Universal
psychiatrists
therapy.
only prescribe, they don't diagnose.
Yeah.
Or analyze. But anyway. If I do one over the other, psychology versus psychiatry, I'd do psychiatry.
Yeah. that's
See
what I
someone
meant.
for like half an hour and you're like, all right, here's your next prescription. That's $150. We'll see you in a month. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Mine's 80, but still, keep your eyes open.
All right. Goodbye, guys. See you. Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh, that was weird.
Whoa. What
All
happened?
right.
Nothing
I don't
happened.
know.
It just went out there. Anyways. I'll just end it right there.
Yeah, that works. Whoa.
Thanks for listening to Vice of Life podcast. And give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at Vice of Life Pod. YouTube, Vice of Life. Email at viceoflifepodcast at gmail.com. And on our Patreon, just you go into the bar and you type in Vice of Life. Review and subscribe and tell your friends. Vote for me.